kind of genius, actually, to see how a different actor would put on the cape and what they would bring to it. I'm a big Michael Keaton fan. I loved him in Beetlejuice. He's a wonderful actor. I loved what he did with Batman. But George Clooney, I think, who I didn't know what he was going to do with it. In fact, I think in terms of the Bruce Wayne and the Batman balance, I think he probably got it better than anybody. He really got both characters really great. Christian Bale was an incredible Bruce Wayne. He's perfect for Bruce Wayne. So each of them brought something different to it. It's really impossible for me to say that one was my favorite, because I thought it was interesting what they all did. It's like with Harley Quinn. Arlene Sorkin defined that character. She created it. She was the first one. Paul Dini created the character for Arlene. And she is Harley Quinn. She was fantastic. And then Tara came along and just nailed it and took it over. And she was fantastic at it. And now Melissa Rauch has done it in the most recent movie, and it's a wonderful portrayal. On the other hand, the voice for Batman, I think, belongs to just one person.
Good answer.
I'm kidding.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Astoria.
Hi.
Hi. I wanted to ask you, so with Andrea Romano's retirement, yeah, I know, I'm so sad. How was it working with another voice director on Batman and Harley, and how was it working with Lauren Lester again?
Well, what's interesting is that Andrea had a great impact on the voice directing community. And she set such a high bar that I think it kind of elevated it for everybody. So Wes Gleason is the director on Justice League Action. And he's fantastic. He does a great job. Because he approaches it largely the way Andrea would, from the actor's perspective. If you give an actor a line reading, it's always going to sound like the line reading. But if you guide them to where you want them to go and let them come up with the line reading, it will always sound organic. It'll always sound like it comes out of the character. So the ideal way to work with actors is to guide them, is to give them ideas that get them to where you want them to go, and have them come up with the sound, because then it'll be organic. It's just better acting. It's almost inadvertent that if you give a line reading, it's always going to sound like they're imitating you. Andrea is a genius at directing people to get where she wants to go. And she also has a great love for actors. There's a story about Andrea I love to tell. Because they opened up the casting to non-voiceover people, because Batman was so popular, they were bringing in movie actors, TV actors, everyone wanted to be on that show over the years. The people came in who'd never done animation. And there's a trick to it, because it's acting. You're creating a whole character, but you're only using your voice. But if you go too much, it sounds like a cartoon. So it's a very subtle kind of goosing that you give to use just your voice to express the emotion. So it's a kind of a funny line you have to walk. So she brought in this one actor once, and he gave the line reading. And she said, great, that was great. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you to just go a little further with it. I want you to, say the line like you've got to tell everyone in town that they got to get out of town because there's a fire coming over the hill. And he said, okay. And he went, and he gave the same line reading. And she said, perfect. Now we want just a little more. The fire's coming over the hill, and a horde of Nazis are coming into the fire. So really tell everyone to get out of the town. And he gave exactly the same reading. And she said, perfect, that was perfect. Okay, now, one more time. Now the fire's coming, the Nazis are coming, the communists are coming. There's a horde of communists, and we gotta get you with the whole village out of the game. And he gave exactly the same line reading. this guy was trapped in a line reading. And she said, perfect, thank you, that was great. And I thought, I didn't hear a difference, but maybe that's just me. But it all sounded the same. But I thought, oh, okay. So afterwards she said, thank you everybody, great show, great show. She broke for the day. And she said, Kevin, come over here. She said, what are you doing for the next hour? I said, I'm just gonna go to lunch, I'm done. She said, great, can you stay and work with us? Because I have another actor coming in and we're gonna read through that character. I said, you said he was great. You said you loved everything. She said, he was trapped. He couldn't get out of the line reading. I said, how did you get someone so fast? She said, well, during our coffee break, I made some calls and I have another actor coming in. But she didn't want that person to be embarrassed. She didn't want to humiliate him. So he left thinking he'd given a great performance, which I love that about her. Because she loves actors. But that is not something, a slam against that one actor. That can happen to anybody. You get trapped in a line reading, you literally can't hear the fact that you're not changing. And it can happen to anybody. And it happened to happen to that guy that day. So Wes, to answer your question in a long way, is doing what Andrea used to do. He's working with actors that way. He's inspiring you to go to where he wants you to go. And there's a real trick to that. Okay?
Thank you. What time is it?
It is 3:15.
3:15. We're supposed to end about an hour, aren't we?
I think now.
All right, so last question, I'm afraid. and then it's up to him if we quick or long.
Hi, I'm Joseph.
Hey, Joseph.
Hi, I was wondering if you were familiar at all with the Arrowverse, the CW Arrowverse.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Because my question was, since Mark Hamill was on The Flash, I was wondering if you could be a character in any of those shows, what would it be?
Oh, sorry, I'm not familiar with it.
All right. All right, well, then that's not our last question. Since he
That's
can't
not the last question.
We'll have a real last question.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
All right.
Hi, my name's Jerome. Working with Mark Hamill for so long, things like that. I mean, not to dote on Mark Hamill, but he's the guy everybody knows. Was there ever any big improv situations that you did with some of the other actors that they used instead of using the original lines and things like that?
Oh, that's a good question. I get asked that a lot. How much do they make us stick to the script? That's a good question. For the most part, the writers really have strong egos. Bruce Timm wants you to, he likes his story. He wants to hear his story. And they want to hear their story the way it was written. And they should. That being said, when we get in there, there's a lot of give and take that happens. That if they hear something they like, they'll keep it. But for the most part, you're kept to the script because it goes through a lot of stages before you get it. So it's already been through editing processes and stuff. But that being said, with the interaction between the actors, they do keep stuff that happens in that sense. And especially with Mark and me, we will goof around a lot. And Andrea loves the fact that we goof around because it keeps people loose. It keeps the atmosphere loose. And you get better performances out of people that way. But every now and then, when you're goofing around that way, you'll come up with some little gem, and they'll keep it. So it does happen.
We have these questions you can answer quickly, the two of you.
Real quick.
Or just one? We're taking so long to figure out, okay. They'll chase it. Can they answer questions real quick? All right, you're good.
I'm John,
Hey, John.
and I actually have grown up with Batman since I was a baby because it came out in '92, which was when I was born. How did it feel, your feelings coming back to the entire cast with the Killing Joke, seeing everyone again?
Oh, it was wonderful. You know what's great? How you have a wonderful friend and you haven't seen them in a while, and you pick up the conversation right where it left off, It's like no time has passed. That's what it was like when we all got back in the booth together. It was as if we had just done the last episode a week before. It was so much fun. And there's that bond among the actors. You know, actors are people. There are generous ones, selfish ones, kind ones, mean ones you really want to work with, and ones you really want to just put a knife in their back. I mean, you just don't want to work with. You know what I mean? They're people. And Andrea and now Wes have a talent for finding generous, talented, kind actors. And it just makes the work process so much more fun. It makes you open up. And that's what happened when we all came back in the room together. It was like, oh, we're all back, yeah! Let's have fun. And it just happened.
Thank you.
Thank you, and you are my Batman.
Thank you so much.
Can't thank.
Okay, this is what you're trying to explain about the number of people multiplied here. Oh, okay, you're with her, all right. Well, thank you.
Hi.
Hi, so mine's more of a favor, but it's just, so you're one of my dad's heroes, and he's kind of transphobic and refuses to call me Charlie or a boy, so could we get a video of you kind of asking him to?
Asking what?
Asking my dad to call me Charlie and the boy, since you're kind of one of his heroes.
Charlie and the boys?
Her dad is kind of transphobic. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
His dad is kind of transphobic. And I was thinking like your dad. I am sorry. And so, and...
What's his name?
Yeah.
John Rodriguez.
John.
Yeah. Tell John to call his son Charlie.
John, it's time to put your big boy pants on and call your son Charlie. Is that right? Charlie and the boy. Charlie and the boy. Charlie and the boy.
I think that's a great one to finish with. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, everybody.